You understand?
I got it. And she would have to answer that.
But she'd have to understand the Coriolis effect in the first place, and that's the problem.
Which I don't think she
understand that yet. Well, no, that's why I didn't go into that. I'm hoping she'll watch the video, or she'll ask me a question about it, or say something, and then I'll correct her on the Coriolis. Do you know what I mean? I will correct her directly via email. And say, no, that's actually incorrect, blah, blah, blah. And I say, I'll be respectful to her, but she will get corrected. But not that I'm decrying what you're saying, Chocolate. What Chocolate is saying is it a valid question once the person has some understanding of what Coriolis effect is.
Yeah,
well,
exactly.
to be honest,
that's why I got that response from Kosho, because even though he knows he was full of it, he had to give me some sort of a response, because the inertial reference frame is not where hurricanes should appear to be rotating from. That would just happen from the non-inertial reference frame, which would be the ground. But the satellite, the quote unquote satellites that depict these things aren't on the ground, are they?
No.
So he reversed it completely and said hurricanes appear to be going straight. So where would that be appearing to go straight from? The ground. But where is it supposed to be going straight from? The air. So he just completely messed that one up.
Yeah, well, it was the best he had. It was either that or admit that he was completely wrong.
Exactly. Of course,
and the globe is bullshit.
Yeah, but
it was the best he could do. Well, sorry.
Brian, at least she didn't say. I thought she was going to go to how water goes down in your toilet bowl in the southern hemisphere, and in the northern hemisphere it goes the opposite way. At least she didn't go there. I haven't been hearing that because that's what I first heard years ago. Yeah.
But that was debunked years ago, and by people who weren't even flat earthers. There were just a couple of normal, broad, global-eating people. They debunked that as a load of rubbish. And it was debunked anyway because it's Uganda, I think it is. It's on the equator in Africa. You can go to the equator in Africa, and they have, on one side of the equator, they have water flowing one way, and on the other side of the equator, they have water flowing another way. And people are all, oh, wow, this is so brilliant. But what they don't realize is it's a plumbing engineering trick. You can make the water flow either way, depending on your plumbing, on who plumbs it or who sets it up, engineering wise. So that's kind of common knowledge now amongst, in most circles. So they're not going to go there. But yes, that was one of the main claims concerning Coriolis.
I haven't heard it lately. You're right. I haven't heard it lately, but I did on a video. A guy did say it. Amongst other proofs. It wasn't the first one, but at the end of the video, he said, and of course, water goes in opposite directions in each southern and northern hemispheres. That was like his end one. So they throw it in there, but at the end. But that was one of the first things I was
completely wrong.
That ridiculous argument got deaded for me in 5 minutes when I heard it. And then, I think literally 5 minutes later, I saw a video where literally in the same body of water, you had two whirlpools going in the opposite directions in the same whirlpool.
It happens all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, okay, well, there goes that claim. Jeez. That didn't take long.
Do you want me to give you something else? I've said this before, but it often gets kind of looked over and forgotten about because it's not, you could see it as not a major point in one way, but it is extremely major in another way. Is that I could find no evidence, and nobody on the ball side could produce any evidence that hurricanes are actually rotating. Now, I didn't make the claim they're not. I'm just saying I've never been able to come across any evidence that they actually do. The first claimed images of our video ranting of rotating hurricanes come from globe Earth heliocentrism satellites that show a globe. So the first images of a claimed rotating hurricane show.
You never watched Wizard of Oz?
No, yeah, well, but you know what I mean. The original images, when you go back to when the first image, I think it was 1950s or something, it starts with you're actually seeing a rotating hurricane, and underneath that is the globe Earth. That's basically what they're showing you. So none of them, not one of them, could produce. Believe this or not, this is not me exaggerating. This is what I got. The best that one of them could come to. This is back probably about maybe 2019 or something. The best that one of them could come to, with me after asking this, since a couple of years prior to 2019, was that in a book from 1929 or 28, somebody wrote that the whirls of the wind from the hurricane did X, Y, Z, or could be felt. It was like someone. It was just writing. It was just someone writing a story. At the time, it could have even been fiction or something. And the person talked about the whirls of the wind from the hurricane. Do you know what I mean? And that was the best evidence that they could come up with. The best. And you wouldn't call that evidence, would you? So, when we're talking about hurricanes and them actually rotating, we do that so we can make the point. And I understand that we don't need to go into whether they're actually rotating or not all the time. But I could find no evidence that they are. They can't be observed to rotate from the ground. When you're in a hurricane, you don't observe this big rotation above you. That is only in movies. Wizard of Oz, as Adam said. It's not observed in reality. Nobody observes that. They experience, scary weather. That's what they experience.
How do tornadoes start?
Well, they're a different thing. They actually do spin, you see. A tornado does rotate. That's a pressure
But
differential, I think, starts
it. Happens in areas where it's extremely flat, like Kansas.
Yeah, no, yeah, exactly. But that is an actual rotation. I mean, that's something that can be observed. Twisters, that kind of thing. They can be observed. But hurricanes and cyclones, they are only shown to us via satellite image of a globe. That's the only. So we are given the impression that these things are rotating simply because, it's part of a narrative. Nobody actually has ever seen, the first person to do it. I'm not saying the first person to show a hurricane rotating. Well, yeah, it would have to be. They'd have to be direct liars because they're the first. It would be the first claimed satellite images. Now, those who came up with those images have to have been liars. Now, obviously, people after them, meteorologists, know this. We can't claim that they're all liars when they show us images of claimed satellite images on the news of a rotating hurricane. But the people who originally came up with those images back in 1950s or whatever, they have to have been total liars. There's no ifs, buts, or maybes about it.
Right. So, can they get it now? Like, if they go on a plane or hot air balloon, would they be able to video, eye of the storm, like they show you on the news?
I haven't seen any evidence of that. I haven't seen any evidence outside of any images. I've seen no images of a rotating hurricane or cyclone outside of satellite imagery of a globe. I've seen no. I haven't personally. So you could kind of just say you could easily make the claim that there isn't any readily available evidence that they are rotating.
I could say, how can you have tornadoes on a globe? I don't think.
Well, tornadoes are a different thing. Tornadoes aren't hurricanes.
Right. I understand.
You can't have tornadoes on a globe because you'd have to have weather systems which requires containment. But you'd have to go into gas pressure without a container at that point, and temperature without a container, etc. Sorry, John.
I'm just thinking about the flat plane of it because they have to start somewhere flat to get that spin going. And how would that happen if we're on a globe?
I don't know that because I saw one. I saw a twister, a small twister, on the side of a hill when I was young, where I'd taken up a load of hay, about 100 foot high or more, 150 foot maybe, 120 foot maybe. So it's quite a sight when I was young with my father.
So you're saying on the side of the hill, so it is possible. I got
Yeah, but I was up on the side of the hill, and there was after being hay there, and there was all these pieces of hay being brought up in the air, about 100 plus foot. So it was excellent to see, but it's actually kind of scary, to be honest with you. 100 plus foot, you're kind of going, wow, if that thing comes near me, it's lifting me up. Do you know what I mean? But you know, but that's a secondary thought. First of all, you're just kind of going, wow, as if you're looking at it on a television. So I couldn't say that requires a flat plane to actualize. But obviously, they actualize more over flat planes because of Kansas being such a, surveyed flat, state. It's basically a pancake. They've actually said it's basically as flat as a pancake. Haven't they? That's the official line or stance on Kansas.
I can find the people.
You what? You're running around so you can find the people?
Yeah, so I can shoot the people.
You want to shoot the people?
Yeah.
Okay, Clover.
Flying. Then.
That's so
I'm
cute.
going there. No.
Yeah.
I'm going to that snow mountain.
You're going to go to the snowy mountain?
Yeah, because I'm going there.
Okay, you go there then.
And I'm going to get there when I'm going to get there.
Okay, you get there when you get there.
That checks out.
And that's why this topic should never be pushed onto kids. That's the example right there. Whether it be pushing a globe or pushing the opposite. I always hated it when I listened to people years ago talking about how their kids are not globe believers anymore and all this. They now believe this thing, or it's like it's only because the parents, kind of forced the issue upon them, as opposed
Correct.
to as opposed to just that's no different than forcing globe upon them. Just leave them be kids. They don't need to know that. It doesn't matter to them. They don't need now. Okay, kids are sharp enough and they pick up on stuff fast, and they can make their own decisions on things. But you don't need to force it upon them. Kids just want to be kids. Just want to have the imagination of being a kid. You only get one chance to be a kid, and it's often not an easy thing. It's often not an easy time in your life. But for the little joys that are in being a child, you should leave them have it. Life is hard when you grow up. That kind of thing.
That's you just have no idea what that sounds like to me when I hear a little child with an English accent. It's like so foreign, man. Adorable but foreign.
I think that's literally what foreign means.
Yeah.
Come on, Choker, you know what I'm talking about. When was the last time you heard a 7 or 8-year-old with an English accent?
Hey, this whole diversity is strength and all this nonsense the left type people are always pushing. Well, have any of those people ever been at it? Have any of them ever been at an international airport? Because absolutely everybody from everywhere, of all different types of people, are in the airport. You know what I mean? So, everybody is there. Everyone from everywhere in the one place.
Brian, you know what? I didn't realize it. I didn't realize it till I just when I was in New York doing all of that work to get money for the car, and I was working in JetBlue. I mean, you're right. I mean, I think I seen every single nationality, every single country. There was people from everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, like Chocolate would have experienced it all the time. Well, I know. Go on, Chocolate.
I mean, in the hood, in the neighborhood.
That's funny. That's funny because I used to work for JetBlue.
Yeah, JetBlue, man, they must have some loot because they were changing every single terminal where the people wait to get on the plane. You know how big they are. Those go like, I'd say 15 feet from seat to seat, looking straight at the wall, but they go like 80 feet across. And they changed the carpet in every single one of them, like maybe 70 of them, I think, altogether.
Are they the terminals, Neil?
Yeah, the terminals where you wait for the plane, the arrivals
Yeah.
and the
The
departures.
gates or whatever. The gates and departures
Yeah,
and all
and
that. Yeah.
exactly, man. You
Because
don't realize how big a freaking airport is. We had
oh,
to
it's
walk
massive.
so far. I'm like, wow, these people that work here, why don't they have like little buggies to drive around in?
Yeah, look at Heathrow. Look, check out the size of Heathrow Airport. Check out our LAX. Any of them, the big flat. But I'd say Heathrow overall in full area is bigger than LAX. It doesn't have more terminals than LAX. LAX is probably a bit more up in the air, but Heathrow in area is massive. If you look at Heathrow if you think about the size of London, if you look at Heathrow, Heathrow is a massive airport. It's like you get tired walking around
Is
Heathrow.
it bigger than JFK?
I've never been to JFK, but if that's big, I
That's where I was.
JFK is
JFK, that's
ridiculous.
insane. Huge.
Yeah, I mean, I think O'Hare Airport is the most busy, or is it the biggest airport, or was anyway in the world, in Chicago. But yeah, Heathrow in area, as in just basically mile squared. I'm always mixing two of them up. Area, just the basic. Sorry, Adam.
Isn't it Schiphol Airport the biggest?
Schiphol in Amsterdam. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, very likely because Holland is a totally flat place. It's known for being just flat, so it's very likely the Schiphol and where a Schiphol is, it would make a bit of sense. But the amount of people that are in an airport, everyone from absolutely everywhere is there. And if people think that everyone can get along and it's possible, then airports prove where it is or isn't. Because all the things that you believe, regardless of your religious beliefs, your spiritual beliefs, your culture, as everything else, that all goes out the window because you must address everyone around you. Because everyone's trying to get somewhere, and a lot of time people are in a hurry, and you've got to deal with the whole world in an airport. Everyone from everywhere. You know what I mean? Within 10 minutes, I spoke to at an airport at Gatwick, which is not it's not a big airport in comparison to Heathrow, but it's big. At Gatwick Airport there over the weekend, or late last week, I was in Gatwick, and I spoke to must be about 5 different nationalities within the space of a couple of minutes. You know what I mean? And the amount of people who passed by when I was charging my phone at this charge point, there was this flow of people walking past, constant flow of people in this big wide, like Neil's talking about where they put down the carpets, this big wide corridor, and this flow of people, and absolutely everyone, let's just say absolutely everyone from everywhere was walking past me. Every part of the world was there.
Let me ask you a question then. If you're sitting down in a terminal, right, and you got your iPad or iPhone plugged in to an outlet that has two plug-in. You can plug it in, right? It has 2 outlets. Is that yours? Or is it okay if somebody comes over and I'm sitting down and they come right in and plug theirs right on top of mine and say, sure, you're okay. Or is that my outlet?
Well, if you've got 2 there, yeah, what happened?
He obviously thinks you're a decent enough person that he can plug it in there because he desperately needs charging. You won't rob his phone.
No. He wants to sit down right next to you. Like if I was sitting in a restaurant, he wouldn't come and sit next to me and plug in.
Is there a seat next to you?
Yeah, there was a seat next to me.
He's not sitting on your lap.
He basically is if he's going to plug in his freaking thing.
Has he got his own seat or has he not got his own seat?
No, you'd have to be basically standing over your shoulder or something. He'd be really close to you.
I didn't say would he be close to you. I'm close to people on the bus.
Yeah, because you have to be.
What are you doing
You
in
have to be.
airport?
Okay, that outlet belongs to me. He needs
Well, if there's
another
two,
outlet.
if there's two USB or whatever lightning bolt, whatever connections there, and you were unplugged into one, and it's a public place, then that person can plug into the other one.
Yeah.
I mean, it's an airport.
You power Nazi.
Yeah, but I'm asking.
Are you telling me that if you were sitting in an airport and I just came by next to you, I didn't say nothing to you, but I sat down in the seat next to you, and there's an open outlet, and I take it to charge my phone, you're gonna tell me that's my outlet?
No. You're missing the scenario. It's in an area. I can't explain it. Think of JetBlue. Remember how they used to have the counters and there's outlets underneath? For you to plug in, you'd have to have a 20-foot cord. Otherwise, you're going to be on my freaking lap. What's the proper etiquette is what I'm asking. And I believe it is that's my outlet.
I think
You
the
got to
proper-
find another one.
Let's just answer him. The proper etiquette is to give him a little fondle while he charges his phone, Neil. Just gently cup his balls, and he'll be all right with you.
Anyway, I got that from Sebastian and Pete. That was one of the things they discussed on what is the proper etiquette in the airport.
The proper etiquette is that you must make space for, whether you want to or not, every other person from absolutely everywhere else. You must deal with all the bad behaviors and bad manners, and you must deal with that correctly, and you must do your best to not show bad behavior and bad manners. And when someone does show bad behavior and bad manners, sometimes you do have to address them, right? That's an airport.
What if somebody opens up a salmon dish that they had, or even curry from the night before? Don't you think that's aggressive? Because that's going to stink the whole freaking plane out.
Yeah, that is taking the piss. Sorry for the language. Yeah, that is. But you can't. That's what I'm talking about. You must sometimes address bad behavior and bad manners at an airport, because there is a lot of it. A lot of people are in a hurry.
What?
Go on, chocolate. Or
What if
Adam?
the smell was pizza?
I was just gonna say, maybe that's when you open up a giant chicken parmesan with extra cheese, and you open it up right
Cheese,
there.
yeah.
Seems you should only take food on board the flight if Neil's on the flight that Neil likes. Like,
It does seem that way, doesn't it?
No. I'm saying that's not just
Sam-
me. My wife.
Yeah.
No, listen. Even my wife the other day, I said, bring that to work. She was bringing leftovers. She goes, no. If I heat it up, it's going to stink up the whole lunchroom. And I even said, so what? But
what does it?
I guess that's a thing.
What does the lunchroom smell of?
One rule for you, another rule for me. I'm hearing.
No, that's what I'm saying. I'm like, she thinks about what other people would think if she came in with curry and heated it up.
Right. So basically, you walk into the lunchroom, and Neil's just been in. He's warmed up with a bit of pizza from last night. Somebody goes, "Oh, pizza, lovely." And then the next person walks in, and Sarita's warmed up her curry, and they go, "You inconsiderate bastard, you." She actually thinks that's inconsiderate. It's a matter of taste, isn't it? I smell that curry, I'm going, "Yes, Daddy."
Me too.
Yeah, I love it.
Then it's a matter of opinion, and fuck off. Can't cater for everybody's opinion.
Yeah, you can't.
And
you can't.
You know, unless they're eating it, who cares what they think of it?
Yeah, she won't do it. If something is going to smell too aggressive, she won't bring it in. She'll make a little sandwich.
Nah, she should bring it in and just the hell with who likes it and doesn't like it. But on a plane, that's a bit different. Excuse me. On a plane, that's a bit different.
You ever farted on a plane, Brian?
Sorry?
You ever farted on a plane? Or do you just hold it in
actually, Adam,
so you
that's
don't
a good
offend
question.
anybody else?
That's a good question. I have never done that.
What would you then? Would you fart on a plane?
Well, I would go down to the bathroom and do it.
What? What about in an elevator?
Oh, okay, no, fair enough. You're a gentleman. You've got up. You're cute. There's 4 people in front of you. You can't hold that fart. What are you going to do now?
Well, look, if you're going to push it that far, look, eventually it's going to come out.
And that offends everybody. Nobody's liking that fart by you. There's only one person who that doesn't smell too bad. That's a good one. Yeah? Only one person on the plane. Everyone else you've offended.
Hey, if you're
I agree.
waiting in a row at the bathroom and you fart because you can't hold it up any longer, just blame the guy who's in the bathroom. Like, whoa, don't know what he
No.
was eating.
We all
you can't do that.
on the fart. It's the only one that's smiling. Everyone else
Yeah.
is tagging.
But you've tried, though, Adam. At that point, you've tried. It's obvious you're waiting for the bathroom. You've tried. You haven't just sat there in your seat and just blasted one out. Do you know what I mean? Regardless of who's around you. Are you one of those plane farters?
No, Brian, one time on construction. Listen,
Just find this out.
this is on a construction site. There'll be a construction elevator, and I'd wait right before my floor.
Oh, I
Nice,
couldn't give
there's
it that
still a
on a
bunch-
construction site. Go on.
Am I roboting?
No.
Sorry, no, go on.
And I'd get off, and there's a bunch of floors to go and a bunch of guys on the elevator. And as the doors would close, I'd say, I left a little fragrance for you. And then you'd hear them as the elevator's going up. Oh, shit, you nasty bastard.
You got to do like liar,
But
liar.
that's a construction
When the
site.
doors close, it was me.
The only thing about a construction site is you do have freedom to be vulgar. Do you know what I mean? You don't have to care about the fellas around you because they don't care about you. Do you know what I mean? Nothing matters. You know what I mean? Well, in moderation anyway. Adam's after leaving. We never got to find out whether he is a plane farter or not.
I don't know why people just didn't wear a mask as a diaper, because apparently masks can stop all types of shit. But
Yeah.
jeans can't stop farts though. But hey, what do I know?
Well, do you smell farts through masks?
Yeah.
And when I would run around and ask people that shit at work, they would just give me that look like, God damn it, that makes sense. why do I have this thing on my face? Like, you think that's stopping whatever you think that's stopping, but if I fart right now, you'd smell it through your face diaper. And you think that that's doing something, and they would just give you that look like, I hate you.
Let me ask another
What
question.
you
Chocolate.
really have to do, what you
Hold
really
on, let me
have
ask-
to do is you have to eat a box of Honey Nut Cheerios and Captain Crunch with whole milk, just 2 massive bowls, and then go on the plane and let it rip.
Really?
Try to kill people.
Oh, the milk.
So is it should you wear a mask if you're sick and you got to work around other people?
Yeah, I think that's fair enough. That you're showing that you're kind of not trying to pass on whatever. That's fair enough. I don't think that's that bad.
See, but that's your philosophy.
That's what my wife does.
My philosophy is, I'm trying to, get the spring started. I got the germ. Thank you, God. I need to spread it to everyone else so they can update their system. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Well,
Gonna
yeah,
get
but
sick.
these days, just to answer, these days, I would have been totally fine with that. I have no problem with that, or someone that's not doing that. But I'm just saying, these days, if I see someone wearing a mask and the reason they're wearing it is because they're sneezing or have a cough, I go, fair enough. They're just trying to appease other people with that, whatever. But
Destroyed my kid, this whole thing, man. I don't know what to do. Adam, maybe you could help me. I can't stop him from washing his hands. He's literally washing his hands dry. He's got dry hands. I'm thinking about bringing him to a doctor, and maybe a doctor could put a scare into him. But since this whole thing happened in 2019, he's totally different, man.
Is he using
Constantly
soap and
washing his
water?
hands.
Is he using soap and water?
If I don't put soap in the house, he'll use the soap I use to wash the freaking dishes. If I don't put that in there, I seen him freaking going to the laundry.
Yeah, you're better off leaving them use normal soap.
Wow.
Because the detergent, any kind of those detergents will destroy his skin. Give him all kinds
I can't keep up with soap and wipes.
At least he's not taking showers in hand sanitizer, because people were literally doing that.
He stopped the hand sanitizer. We got rid of that. But then it's a wash fest. I watched him. He made eggs. He cracked the egg the other day. And after he was done cracking the egg and putting it in, he rinsed his hands and washed his hands. Then he did something else and he washed his hands. I'm like, dude, I don't know what I'm going to do with you. You cannot keep washing your hand. You're doing damage to yourself.
It's a phase. It'll go away. You know how we are.
It's been over since 2019, 2020. It's going on almost 4 years now, Eli.
Yeah, I think give it a little bit of time, Neil. But I would bring him out to do stuff. If you can bring him to the countryside, bring him into fields where he has to put his hands onto things like fences to get over them and pick up stuff, and you know what I mean. Get him digging
you
a
gotta
hole.
shock his system. Like you gotta break his belief that he's gonna get sick if he's not. Because once you get like, that's basically what I did to break my belief system. When are we live?
Yeah.
Not live.
Yeah.
But are we recorded?
Always assume you're being recorded, so be careful.
I don't know. Okay. Nathan tried to say something there. Did Nathan say it? Nathan is not responding. I don't know, Eli.
Okay. Well, it's like with everything that happened in 2020, like actually it's just like when I was in first grade. I'll never forget the first time I heard about germs was in first grade. The teacher was like, "Yeah, they're all over your desk and everything," and I began to freak out. My own cognitive sensibilities. I thought to myself, "Wait a minute, I've been alive for this long. And I've never really had any issues with whatever this lady is saying is all over this desk. So why freak out?" And it's like, so you need to throw him in an environment where it's like he can't really mentally defend the fact that he should be sick in those circumstances, but he's not. Then he'll go, "Oh, okay, well, maybe I'm overreacting."
I got you, but look at it. When I was a kid, it was constant commercials of Vietnam and war. I was petrified of dying in war. And I'm thinking that at his age, he's being bombarded with this shit. So, I mean, of course, it's going to bring a fear in him. I even set him down to watch the newer version of War of the Worlds, because at the end, the aliens die because of the germs that we're immune to and that they are good, Not in register, still washing his hands a million times.
The only one way then, Neil, total shock therapy. Take him to Wuhan and give him a bat soup in the wet market.
Or just chop his hands off.
I'll do it.
They hold this and hand them a third.
Point being, you've just got to prove him wrong, haven't you? I think Brian said, throw him in a situation where, unfortunately, being like that isn't actually an option.
Yeah, like take him outside, we throw the frisbee around, it hits the dirt, he picks it up, I see him wiping it off, then I see him take it to the hose and hose it down. I'm like, oh my goodness. I'm like, Jude, you have to understand, dirt is good.
Yeah, that's not enough though. You need to bring him where there isn't a hose. You know what I mean? Like, but the thing about it is, what he needs to know is the difference between what's dirty and what's not. Like clay, is not dirty. Grass is not dirty. Feces, feces, human and otherwise, that's dirty. Clay isn't dirty. It's only on your skin. It doesn't do anything. Chemicals are
Brian,
bad.
I said to him, Brian, listen, Jude, when we were kids, we'd be playing in the street. I'd get the whistle to come home for dinner. I don't even remember washing my hands. And I survived. I'm 58. I'm still going. So I think what you're doing is going to hurt you because you're not allowing your body to get used to anything.
Yeah, well, you could tell him the story. Tell him this story, Neil, right? Tell him your friend, right, Brian, in Ireland. Tell him that his father spent the majority of his life with his hands in dirty things. He spent a huge amount of his life in the city landfill, picking things apart, looking for things that people had threw out, right? And my father had an unbelievable immune system. He only died because his kidneys failed due to medications. His immune system overcome everything, including the bird flu, everything, and overcame it in just 2 or 3 days because his immune system was so strong simply because he didn't wash his hands all the time. He washed them as he needed to, but he didn't care if his hands was dirty. He didn't care if he got animal blood on his hands. He didn't care, right? He didn't care. And he put his hands into anything, into anywhere. And his immune system, because he was always that way in his life, his immune system was shocking for the doctors. They couldn't believe how strong his immune system was, simply off of that alone. Now, my mother has a very strong immune system too, because she worked with animals when she was younger. She came from the countryside. She worked with cows, milking them and on farms and stuff. So, he has to, that's what I'm saying, bring him out into the countryside. You know what I mean? Or get him helping you doing physical work outside, doing something like digging something up. You know what I mean? So he has no choice.
Get him
but
playing
to,
in manure.
He just needs to understand what his skin does. Teach him why don't you
Get
teach
him
him?
playing in shit.
It's true, though. It's true. I mean, it's true because I remember when I was young, like it's like this. People I remember not being sick the most were the people who were constantly outside and had their hands on everything.
That's just
the people who got sick were the people who were avoiding going outside.
I just keep hearing this correlation between you've got dirty hands, therefore you've got a good immune system. No. The idea of washing your hands is to stop dirt getting places it shouldn't. Now, if you've got dirt on your hands, unless you've got an open wound on your hand, then it matters not. What matters is when you then touch your eye, pick your ass, touch bits of your body that are openings that can put dirt inside you. So the original story of how people figured this out was because of the midwives causing less deaths than the surgeons, because the surgeons were doing autopsies with obviously contaminated hands and then delivering babies and killing babies and mothers because of their contaminated hands. Now, did the doctor have a great immune system? Did it matter that he had dirty? No, he's got skin. The skin on his hands is stopping infection from the dirty things he's touching. And as and when he's going to potentially, eat something, you'd hope in modern times that if you're going to put your hands with dirty crap all over them near your face or near your mouth, you'll wash them so that doesn't get ingested. But the idea of, washing your hands all the time, it's like, well, what for? Are you about to touch your face? When they say that, I used to poke fun at it. But I used to poke fun because it's so blatantly bloody obvious. If your hands are covered in shit, don't touch your face. Now, if you happen to have just washed your hands, then your hands and skin are clean enough to touch face with. But if you've been touching handrails, walking around, generally doing anything, touching anything, then you've got whatever dirt is on whatever you've touched on your skin. Now, if you're prepared to put whatever dirt you've just been touching into the pores of your face, then be my guest, you'll just become a spotty little teenager. But that's what you need to teach them. Skin is there to protect the inside bits from getting dirty from the outside bits. But when you come to putting your fingers in your mouth and eating something, then you need to wash your hands. If you're going to touch someone else, maybe wash your hands just out of courtesy. If you're going to shake their hand, for instance.
Yeah, that's good etiquette, I guess. But even still, you know, working in the city as a bike messenger, getting as grimy as I possibly can, touching as many things as possible. I always touch my face and I always bit my nails in my hands without washing them. And I like, I
Got a good
mean,
immune system, Nate.
I never
Eli,
got
have
sick
you?
because of it. Say again.
Yeah, you've got a good immune system then.
Well,
See, this is the thing.
I'm not even trying to make a correlation. I'm just saying it didn't cause me to get sick.
Yeah. Well, let me just address Nathan. I'm not saying don't wash your hands before you eat. I'm not saying don't wash your hands at all, but that's incorrect. I've just washed my hands a minute ago because I was rubbing one of the cats, right? But the point is
Because you
that
what?
don't.
Wash your hands because you're
Sorry?
rubbing one out.
No, because I was rubbing the cat.
Oh, rubbing the cat.
Rubbing one of my
Okay, fine.
cats. My God.
Rubbing one out.
I'm on the panel. No, I don't think so. No. But the point is, Neil, isn't right. Right. The point is, right, is that if you're trying to keep your hands too clean and trying your best not to allow any dirt, you don't build an immune system. Which is why this is something that a lot of people don't realize. The most poisonous bite in the world is a human being bite. If you get bit by a human being, it's worse than a Komodo dragon or any other poisonous bite, a cat, anything biting you. I'm not talking about something like a cobra putting poison into you. I'm talking about the mouth itself. The human mouth is the most poisonous mouth in existence. And the reason is because...
Just ask Mike Tyson. He's never been the same.
Yeah, see, this is the thing about it. The mouse has a load of anti-poisons in it, but they're also poisons. Because the mouth is what little kids put their hands on the floor and put their hands in their mouth. So it's a build-up that happens. Now, when it comes to obviously delivering babies, obviously surgeons who've just done an autopsy and then they try to go to deliver a baby, that's purely irresponsible. The baby hasn't got a build-up yet. You know what I'm saying? The baby doesn't have an immune system build-up. You know what I mean? Most babies don't have any immune system build-up that they would need to have. But that's how you build. That's how you get immune system build-up. As a little child, your hands are always on the floor. You crawl around, and your hands are going in your mouth and everything and anything. You're putting stuff everywhere, and that's how you build your immune system. I'm not saying don't wash your hands. Come on, you have to wash your hands. But the point is that your mouth is extremely poisonous. I know of a lad. I think he was Lithuanian or Polish, and he was a boxer. And he got into some nonsense with someone inside in the centre of town where I am. And he gave the guy a dig. And the guy's tooth chipped his knuckle, right? He didn't think anything about it. Suddenly he was rushed to hospital. And they told him in hospital that and this is like less than 24 hours later. This is like only a few hours after it happened. He was told in hospital that if he was an hour later, they more than likely would have had to amputate his arm because of the poison from the other person's tooth that went into his flesh.
Wow.
Or if you ever get bit by a person, go straight to hospital. Never mind that it doesn't hurt that much. Go straight to hospital. It's extremely dangerous. Or a cat, but the human is the worst. Did you know that, Annie?
I didn't.
Yeah, dangerous. Very dangerous.
I'm not sure about the Komodo dragon. Not sure about the Komodo dragon claim though, because I heard that that's like probably one of the worst. I could be wrong, but as far as I know, their saliva is capable of literally paralyzing their victims. That's one of the ways they just eat things whole like that. So I'm not sure if that works with that, but
what the Komodo dragon does is it bites you, and then it allows you to get away, and it tracks you down. And when it tracks you down, you're dying of infection, and it eats you then. That's one of the things it does.
But I think it tracks. I mean, if I'm not wrong, I think it tracks you down because you've been paralyzed by the bite. So
no, it just smells you, and it just follows you until you stop walking away.
Yeah, you just get very, very sick with infection. And when you get really bad infection, you just run out of energy completely. You end up just flattened and asleep. And it comes and gets you then when you're totally weakened.
And infectious wounds stink. They can smell that. So they can follow you around.
Well, isn't this lovely? I'm going to round out my live
There's
stream.
a snake that does similar. Sorry, Nathan.
I'm just going to say I'm going to round out this. I've been doing a members only live stream, so I'm just going to say goodbye to members. So thank you for watching. I've been Nathan Oakley. See you in the next video.
What a lovely day!